Hello, and thank you for stopping by as always. I want to cover something today that I believe is important in my journey for growth, and it's selfless versus selfish. And we live in a very selfish world to the nth degree, and it's so obvious that it's not hard to spot it, to understand it, that almost everybody you meet in your life is going to be a very selfish individual. And I don't think that's helpful. So I'm going to start off by saying that I've spent a lot of time looking into the simulated reality concept, as I've spent a lot of time looking into religion and science and all these different things, Illuminatis, all this crap, right? And I find it all to be very useless. It's a stepping stone to bigger things. So, as far as the simulated reality goes, that's kind of the push I've been on to try to get some of my thoughts out about that. And I've been looking at this for 6 to 8 months, and I've come to kind of the same conclusion as all this other stuff. I mean, not in the way, when I say it doesn't matter, it's not in the way that most people say that, in that they think, oh, what does it matter if the earth is not what we're told? Or what does it matter if our government's a bunch of pedophile perverts? What does it matter if, science is a lie? I don't mean it in that way, because it does matter. But I mean it in the way that it doesn't matter, because once you figure out that that's the world we're presented with, it's time to move deeper into yourself and get away from the material. So, as far as the simulation thing goes, I mean, obviously our world is, to me, not material. I mean, there's a material world here. Who knows who created it? Maybe we do. Maybe it's, some type of, computer simulation, or maybe it's, who knows? We'll never know. So we could spend, and I have, a lot of time trying to figure it out. But at the end of the day, it's all about learning. It's growing. There's a concept that this world is some sort of reincarnation prison. Someone mentioned that at one of my videos, a comment, and it's totally where I am. In that, I feel that we, as a soul essence, our spirit beings, are sent here to grow and to learn and prove that we can coexist with other loving beings. And we're put here, this isn't fact, this is my current interpretation, shall we say. But we come here, we're put here, and we're supposed to learn, we're supposed to grow, and we think that this is it. This is everything. So the illusion has to be as such that we believe it in order to see how we would really react in the case that we're in a real world, right? So people are shitty. I mean, people just do everything they can to benefit themselves and don't care about anyone else. Now there's some people that do. I consider myself one. I mean, in the event that I'm given an opportunity that, hey, if you do this, you're going to benefit a lot, but this other person, there's other people that are looking to do it as well, and they could benefit a lot, I always step back. I step back and say, well, let them benefit. I'll worry about myself later. And I think that's the general essence of why we're here. Because if you consider the fact that if there is a place where our soul essence goes to, where you don't have to worry about people stealing, lying, cheating, killing, all these things, well, the only reason you wouldn't have to worry about that is because every conscious energy there is gentle and considerate of others. And if that's the case, you don't have to worry about those things. You don't have to, lock your door or hide your money or lie about this or lie about that or sneak around, because everyone's just decent and everyone is honest, right? And to me, that's a perfect world. And that's a far cry from where I find myself today. So this might sound a little bit scattered and rambling on, but I think it's important. Now, as far as the ego, I've done a lot of research into the ego. I heard some things about the ego, the death of the ego, and I started thinking, I look into that a bit, and I did. And I think our ego is us. This is my ego. This big, stupid water baby head is my ego. I'm the meat bag, right? The bag of bones. What the ego's job is the ego tries to convince you that you are here in material, in physical form, and that's all that matters. And everything you can do to make that material form happy, that's what the ego does. And I believe it's our job to fight that off, to get rid of that ego and realize that we're much more than a bag of bones. There's much more to our being than, all the stuff that makes people say you're successful. Hey, he makes a lot of money. Hey, he's educated. Hey, he's got a nice car, a hot wife, a big house. All that stuff doesn't matter. It's dumb. The old saying, you can't take it with you. And there's a lot of truth there. So, the world we live in today is full of selfish people. It's very rare that I meet a person that's not selfish. Now, many people have learned to mask it and pretend to be caring and giving, but underneath it all, they're selfish people. And I don't think that's by mistake. When you look at the world that we currently live in, everything that's highlighted through media and even through family and friends and what success is, it's all about gaining more material wealth. It's all about fame. How many people think I'm cool? Stay frosty, my friend, right? What is that? All this stuff. Really, none of it matters, but that's all we do. And you look at Facebook, right? What's Facebook? Facebook is a nightmare on ice, but everybody's doing it, right? Even I heard something on the radio the other day that the demographics, like people in their 40s and 30s and 40s, are the main users, and it's like it's disgusting. Honestly, people taking their time instead of enjoying an experience and learning what's going on in that experience are taking selfies. Selfies. Even the term alone. Hey, let me take a picture of myself so I can show everybody how happy and cool I am. It makes me want to vomit. But everyone's doing it. TV is all about, reality TV, when it first started with like Survivor or whatever, was, I watched it and it was, hey, look at this, is real. But no, it's not. What it's about is highlighting the individual people that, hey, we don't even need scripts or anything because we're also special. Everyone wants to watch us. It's Facebook on TV is what it is. It's all manipulation. And then you look at how we raise our children these days. At this point in time, I don't know where we jumped the shark on this one, but parents worship their kids. It's been flipped. It used to be that, hey, we're going to raise our kids and they have to adapt to what we're doing, and we'll teach them, and we're going to enjoy our lives, and our kids come along for the ride, and we'll teach them what we can, but we're going to live our lives. And now we're to the point where parents are just like, well, I'm going to turn my life off. I don't care anymore about my life. All I care about is making sure this little kid, this little child, is happy every minute of their lives, is never in fear, is never scared, is never disappointed, never feels bad. And then instead of going out and doing something I want to do, I'm going to go over here and hang out with these people I don't so much care for just so my kids can interact. It's worshiping kids. And then these children, it's not their fault. They grow up and they're like, everyone's been kissing my ass my whole life. Why do I need to do anything? And think how far that removes you from being a selfless person. These children don't even think about anything other than, how can I make myself happy? And everything they do is about, hey, gratify. And then if they slip up and have a moment where they are not satisfying their own gratification, then the parents step in and say, well, don't worry, we'll make sure you can be happy. And when you think about that, the difference from that to a person that actually cares about other people and thinks, well, this would help me here, but boy, I mean, it might help someone else, and I'll be fine either way. I mean, these are diametrically opposed positions. So I think that this is obviously another designed program, but it's really so deep that at this point I don't think there's any way out of it. And whether we live in a simulated reality or whether the Earth is round or whether our politicians care about us, none of it really matters. I mean, it's about what we learn through the experience. And the way I view it is that there probably is a place where our soul essence can exist with other souls, other energy, and you don't have to worry about people stealing from you and killing you and raping you and taking advantage of you, if that's even a thing when you leave this material world. But the same concept probably exists. And you wouldn't have to worry about these types of things if everybody were selfless and cared about each other versus just constantly trying to figure out the best way to highlight and gratify themselves. And I really do believe that's the purpose here, is for us to grow and realize that it's important to care about those around us and to help others. And that brings a natural fulfillment that you don't get when you gratify yourself. So it's a different space. I suspect our dreams are closer to it than our awake reality. But that's the point I wanted to make. It's just that selfish versus selfless. I think that if you could break everything down, if you could melt it all down and there'd be two pebbles sitting on a burner, that those would be the two. And those are the two that we're supposed to figure out. Is, are you a very selfish person or very selfless? And in this world, selfless gets you nothing. It gets you nothing. Everyone thinks you're, just lazy and stupid and you don't care. And that's the world that we're put in. And it's our job, I believe, to transcend that and be a decent person, a decent human being, to understand compassion and love and caring for other people. And I don't mean that, love is another word I could go into, just like happiness, for hours about how that's been misconstrued. It's turned into, how can I make somebody happy, which is it's a layered thing. What love is supposed to be, it doesn't always have to be hugging and kissing. It could be doing what's right for someone or something, even though it doesn't feel good. You do it because you care, right? Not because you want to make that person happy at the moment, right? So anyhow, I'm rambling. I'll stop. Wanted to post this, and I hope it's helpful. And thanks again, as always, for stopping by, and we'll talk to you soon.